Okay, we are now recording. It's about 8:33 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is Friday, February the 12th. I very rarely do Friday lectures. Only time I do Friday lectures is when I have when the class ends on that following Tuesday, like 5.5. But here I'm doing it because it starts in the middle of the week, which was Wednesday. I didn't want to do a lecture for Wednesday, so I did one last night on Introduction to Criminal Law, and I'm doing this one tonight with you guys. So I hate to hold you hostage. I finished grading my, as a matter of fact, the one class I did finish grading is Introduction to Corrections, but by tomorrow night I have to finish grading 2 other classes that I teach. So, yeah, and I always say aim high. You know that I'm a person who believes in, and I help you. All right, so let's look at this, because this will be a review for both of you guys, but I must go over it. It's so that they can get the benefit of starting off on the right foot. As I try to tell my students, this recording that I do on week 1, open house, is extremely important, so that you can make sure you get your expectations in, so that by March the 19th, which is the magical date that this course actually ends, you will be happy, so that when you get your grades that come out March the 22nd, I believe it is, that you'll be happy. And like I said, honor roll and dean's list is my goal, but we'll talk about that. So anyway, my name is Richard Wright. This phone number here, 630-660-8480, is my cell phone number, as you should be aware. A lot of professors have what they call a Google number. I don't do that. This is it right here. Wait a minute. I thought my camera was on. Apparently it is not. So let me get my camera on. Start video. Okay, there we go. So you can see this right here. You can see that this item, I think I'm doing this right. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm looking at? Make sure I'm okay. Okay, now you can see it, right? Because okay, they did some changes on this over these last couple of days. So yeah, so this right here, this phone right here, is where that phone number is, and it's with me all the time. In fact, it's on. So that last night when I was in the lecture, it went off at the beginning. It was my wife calling me to ask me a question, but now it's on silent. So anyway, that is how you reach me. And let me move this out the way for now. So 630-660-8480, lock that into your phone, because you can feel free to call me, text me, or email me any hour of the day except the 25th hour of the day. And for those new students, you can ask the students that have had me that when I say that, I mean what I say, and that if you've reached out to me, I respond very fast. In fact, oftentimes students will text me, and they will get a quick response back from me, and oftentimes I like to call students back because I like communicating and talking to my students as much as possible, because you can get things lost in translation. And the worst way to reach me is email, because the email that you primarily use will be go directly into the course. And I have the course information on my phone, but I primarily look at my cell phone for emails. Well, a lot of other things. I pay bills on it and stuff like that. I even can get WebEx on there also. Some of you may already know about how that works. And so I use it a lot. But you can call me, text me, or email me. Now, if you text me, please identify yourself, because I won't recognize the number. I don't save all the numbers. Otherwise, I would have all my memory eaten up with all the students I've had down through the years. So I take care of what I have to, and then I delete it out of my um, phone. And it's the quickest way to reach me is by phone or text. If I don't get back to you right away, then I will get back to you within a reasonable period of time. And so, but I want to make sure that you understand that I'm probably one of the most hands-on professors that you'll ever have. There's no professors that outdo me in terms of reaching out to their students in a timely fashion. You know, yeah. Probably my one fault that I have, and it really happens to me when I run into tough situations like you guys, all of us do, is that those of you who are in my class, I think Faith, she knows about this from my the quarter I just completed, that I lost my sister around week 3, and it just threw a monkey wrench in my whole life. And so I was doing everything I could, you know. Yeah, so I appreciate um, all of my students being patient with me. And as you will discover, I am with you guys too. And we'll talk more about that coming along. But my students are my friends, and you know, uh, uh, yeah, let me see, that was quick. Let's see if I can. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do try to do it. I do. My wife always says, you treat your students like they're your kids. I said, well, they are my kids for 5.5 weeks. In your case, Faith, it's going to be consecutive 11 weeks. Okay. So, but the point of the matter is that I like to, laugh and have fun. Yeah, you had me in other classes too, I know. But I'm talking about this time it was consecutive too, for both parts of the winter quarter. So winter term, T1 and T2. So I always tease my students and say, didn't you have enough punishment in the first part of dealing with me? You got to come back again. So, but anyway, again, I love um, helping my students to succeed. So notice the highlight of the word rubrics. It is highlighted for a reason. It's because 95% of your grade is based on rubrics. And you will discover that there's 5% that's outside of rubrics. And I kind of talk about them during the lectures. And I also am going to talk about some of that right now. And I've added something that you'll see on announcements every week as well. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a little bit. APA. We use APA 7. We have resources that are available to you, and I point those out to you on the course homepage that you can be sure you can get assistance. It is so important that you understand how APA works. And one of the key things that's important is citations in the body and references at the end, along with a cover page, Romans 12, double spaced, unless I tell you otherwise. But double spaced is the way that I like you to do it. And so it's very important that you follow that and you satisfy the paging requirements. If there are any paging requirements, I'll let you know of that. But APA is very important. I'll show you some sources. Critical thinking. I am a natural critical thinker, as some of you know, or all of you could know if you looked at the student lounge, that I am a lawyer. In fact, I have on my t-shirt, I think you can see it, says Northwestern Law. There you go. And I'm very, you know, I'm proud about accomplishing the graduation from that school. It wasn't the easiest things in the world, but it was probably one of my most expensive ventures next to buying my house. But my house is almost up there with what I paid for my education to become a lawyer. But it was well worth it, and I'm glad I have it. And for my life that I have now, as many of you know, or we come to know, oh, you're buying a house. Oh, good. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's buying a house is fun, but man, I have spent so much money since I bought this house to do a lot of improvements on it and changes and stuff like that. So congratulations. Nothing like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Um, I paid, I've had homes, several homes, but for various reasons, I had to let some of them go. But now this is it. The buck stops right here. And so I love where I live now. And so, but critical thinking is important because you want to establish something that employers will be looking for. And we'll talk about that with our transferable skills. And it allows you to utilize that gray matter. It's in between these two ears there, and be able to put that on paper and include that in your assignments, sharing your position. But I always tell students, I don't concern myself with whether we agree on your position, but I do concern myself with if you can't support it with what I consider to be credible sources. That's a habit that I developed long before I saw this as a lawyer. I wasn't one of those lawyers like some lawyers that I've been able to see that's been in the news lately that believe that you can go into court without evidence. Evidence matters, trust me. And critical thinking and the information that you provide will help you to support that. So we're going to talk about that. So all these are important. So this is just additional course information, is a reminder that your textbook is not to be utilized as a primary source for your papers. Or if you use it as the sole source, I will deduct 2 points. Remember, I said this is not in the rubric, but I'm telling you, this is within that 5% of grading. And so all written assignments should be an APA. I have students that send me messages, do I have to write this in APA? I say, well, unless I state otherwise. But when I say all, it usually fits the category of 99.9%. So if you round it up, that's most 100%. So citations in the body and references at the end. Please do not throw a citation in. I've had some students try to throw a citation in there somewhere in that paper and then don't use any more at all in the paper. I know better because citations support the statements that are contained in your papers. And when you say something, you have some theory, some source that you got that information from. I am an expert, but I do it all the time because judges will say, Mr. Wright, support your position. And I'll quote cases, I'll quote statutes, I'll quote administrative rulings, I will quote law review articles from distinguished authors and things like that. And so those are the kinds of things I want you to think in terms of. I'm not trying to make you into lawyers. If you want to become one, I can take you that way as well and help you. But the point of the matter is that I want you to get into the habit of doing this. You'll lose 1 point if you don't have a cover sheet. I have seen some great papers, but then they don't have a cover sheet. The cover sheet should be separate. Then these are some helpful resources that you can click on. Something they did, I don't know what they did, but now you have to right click on them to look at them. So you can right click them, or you can copy and paste in another window and open it up. But these are things that I give you that you can utilize to help you. One that I do want to look at, and that's this one right here. I'm going to open it right now. I want you to see this, so let me move this. So this is the online library, which has library services. It provides for the various programs, and we're in justice studies, research tools, tutoring if you need it, or library chat, tutoring, research appointments, and this other part here is something that we faculty members use primarily. You don't use this. But if you have, for example, a question about Grammarly, now you should be aware that all your papers should be run through Grammarly. You have a Rasmussen Grammarly account, and if you were to click on this, I'll show you an example. It tells you sign up using your Rasmussen student email, and it tells you how to go to and follow the steps. And once you do that, then it will be free. Now, let me explain something to you. When you review your papers through Grammarly, make sure you check the plagiarism box, because that's how I check, and you'll discover. So that's how you learn about Grammarly if you don't already know. There are other things in here. APA, you click on that, it takes you to the APA 7th edition toolkit to help you there. You click on this. It tells you to find videos that you might need about the writing lab, tutoring, transferable skills, which we're going to talk about in a minute, research appointments, Noodle tools for formatting your papers, and then if you're a new student, there's a new student guide in there that can help you to learn many of the things that you should have already gotten in orientation when you started out. This guides thing is important, because if you click on this, it opens up the 30 guides, and down here, right under health sciences, is School of Justice Studies, and it deals with the issues of research, database, writing help, APA. Notice APA pops up all over the place, so it tells you how important it is. And then you deal with tutoring, you deal with the criminal justice programs, and it mentions specific courses that we have special section. Notice this. You see your class in here, and if you click on that, it tells you about weekly discussions and so forth for each of the weeks. But you're not going to even have to do that, because of the fact that you're going to see that in a minute in the modules themselves. So all of this, you can hover over it and get information. So this is, and try to use the library resources, because they are helpful for you in terms of getting work done. Tutoring, and then it tells you how to connect with tutoring, but you also have another place there. You get that as well, as I showed you. Going beyond the textbook, these are PDF. Now, you should know already that all of your written assignments must, not should, must be in what form? Yeah, I know, APA, but what form of document? I'm talking about PDFs. Okay, Word, there we go. Yeah, Microsoft Word. Very important. If you have a problem with Microsoft Word, then you can reach out to PSC, which you can be able to get information by reaching out to, you go to your resources tab, or it says need help. I think this is the one that they got. No, that's not the one. That's the chat thing. That's a new thing. Let me get out of this. I want to close this back. If you go to resources, I know you'll find it then. I thought it was in here. Okay, I thought it was in here. Let's go back. Oh, I know why. I'm still getting used to this. Excuse me, getting used to this new thing. It's going to be even worse because we're going, let's go back into the class. Okay, so you go to APA. Let's see, I'm trying to think of, I know they have it in here. Did I miss it over here? Oh, there it is. It's on this. See, you hover over this and then you click on that. There we go. And they're 365 like me with helping students 24/7. And they help you with these issues, which is almost every technical issue that you need. And there's their phone number. You can call them. You don't have to wait until Monday if it's on a weekend or a holiday, or you can email them. Best to call them, all right? And they'll set up a ticket and all of that kind of stuff. So they'll be there to help you. So, all right. So anyway, going down. So these PDFs that I was talking about tell you, you click on them, open them, download them, print them, save them, do them, whatever. Helps you with writing tips. And it also talks about critical thinking as well. Each of these articles, analytical tips, importance of information literacy. While I'm on the topic of information literacy, it is one of our transferable skills that you want to use credible sources. One of the best ways to make sure is use the Library and Learning Center. You can use Google, but be careful about some of the sources that you get out of there. There is one source right off the bat that you never use in my classes, and you do get dinged for it. What is it? Wiki, that's the first part. What's the other part? Wiki, I know what you mean. Pedia. It's all one word. So it's the wiki. Yeah, Wikipedia. Never use that because it is not a credible source. Most professors should tell you that because it's word-based, which means that it can be edited and changed, which, by the way, the reason why we ask you to use Word documents in your written assignments is so that we can edit them if we want to or run them through Grammarly. We can't run PDFs through Grammarly. Referencing, this gets back to APA and how to cite cases, and this is an article here about the crisis next door. This is a article or a website that deals with, there you go, opioid overdose and things like that. And you can utilize that in terms of your research as well. And I just shut down my, okay. I gotta go back to, sharing. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back to this. Okay, let's share the content. I think this is it right here. No, that's not it. When I click that, I shut myself down there. Okay, let's go to this. Okay, I had to do it this way. Here we go. All right, let's go back. And I'm already, oh, shoot, I don't want to do that. Well, I can go back. Yes. Okay. So that means I have to start video all over again. Okay. Now I got two. Yeah, I know why. Let me get out of this. Leave this. Okay. Okay. Now I got to go back. I hate this when this happens. This just happened one other time. Okay. I got to stop sharing to do this. Give me a minute. Okay. Now I go back to share. Okay. Now I got to log back in. This is, here we go. Blackboard Learn. This is stuff you don't really see. I see this all the day. Okay. Okay. So now I'm back in the classroom. Okay. Can you see this? Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that. You wait till you get to be a teacher and you have to operate and talk at the same time. I remember I do my radio show. That's why I have a producer. So anyway, The Crisis Next Door is an article. Then there's an article on critical thinking that you can use. And then this right here is adversity as a springboard to success. Some of you guys know about this. I also provided you with the link to it. I know, Faith, that you got the full one last quarter. Trinity, I don't think you've seen this full one because I just put it in this last quarter. I think it was maybe the quarter before that, but I don't think that you were in that class. But anyway, this is the full story. Yeah, so this is the full story. It's an hour long, and I'm just going to show you a sample of what it's like. And it comes back on with me. And can you hear me talking? Yeah. So if you notice, it's an hour and 3 minutes. So you can look at that at your own time. So I'm gonna get out of this. Okay. But I want you to take time to look at that so you'll learn about me. And then be aware that rubrics are in every written assignment. And now you'll see it on the home page. Discussion rubrics is here. You can click on this. It's a generic one for discussion posts, which we'll talk about more in detail. And then finally here, this is I don't have to tell you guys this link because you're here. So it tells you that we began today. 8:30 p.m. to about 10 o'clock. We'll be done. And that I will be going over all the expectations coming up, as well as what I've been doing so far. Weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will take place starting next Wednesday. So I'll see you next Wednesday, the 17th, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. And then the recordings, which will include today's, will be under here. And then you'll have to give me a key word or phrase that a lot of times I'll let you guys guess what it is, and then we go from there. Now, I want to show you something that's important for you to be aware of. It's called the course calendar, and here you have a different way to access it than I do, but here it is. It tells you each day. This is where we are. We actually started on the 10th. If you click on it, it actually opens up and gives you more information about each week's module. And then your reply post and initial post are both due by tomorrow. By tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard. But starting next week, your initial post will be due on Tuesdays, and that'll be all the way through the whole course. Your quiz, which you will have a quiz every week, okay? And it's not going to be like the quiz that you had in Introduction to Corrections, where you got 3 times to do it. Here you only get 1 time to do it, okay? So you want to study and utilize the information I supplied you, which consists of your reading, doing your assignments, and your PowerPoints. PowerPoints are good for helping you to outline the chapter as well. And each week you will receive PowerPoints. You each should have received PowerPoints for week 1, which consists of, I believe, chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. And then your written assignment. Impact of controlled substances. We're going to talk about that going over the rubric in just a minute, but I'll show you that even before we get there. And so then we start with the following week on Monday, and then I'll see you again, as I said, the 17th. Now, here we are in March, which is just around the corner, March 19th. The course ends. That's the last day of class. Not the 20th, not the 21st. Every week, I will be saying that during the lecture, okay? So your course calendar is a tool that you want to become familiar with. All right. Now let's go, and I want to talk to you about the syllabus. The syllabus, as you can see, contains my name, my information, and it also contains this information that you saw on the course homepage, my instructor notes. All right. And then here's the textbook, which, by the way, is digital. I have the textbook in this classroom, but I also have it on my phone. I have, oops, that's not it. I just clicked on okay, here we go, it's next to it. This is, I'm going to show you in just a minute. Here it is right there. That's, you should be able to see that. Yeah, there's the textbook. And then I got all my textbooks in here. And so with digital, it's very efficient. You don't have to carry around all those books like I had to coming up in my educational career. And we'll talk about that a little later. Course requirements, you have discussion posts. As I said, the initial post is due on Tuesdays, with the exception of this week, and the reply post is due on Saturdays at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, with the exception of week 6, which will be due the last day of class. So now, when you do your discussions, I want critical thinking. Yes, no, short answers are not, you will not get points for them. I will take them off. Remember to be responsible and courteous with your classmates. This is the way that you work together as teammates. This is the way you communicate with each other, pretty much, unless you come to the live lectures. And then, you know, I put up on the chat box, because I was just told by someone I did not know that the recordings don't contain the chat box, because I had a situation that happened with given the key word. It was in the chat box, but they didn't see it, so I had to just tell everybody that time. But anyway, your discussion assignments, I encourage you to reply to more than one post. Now, your initial post, as I said, is generally due on Tuesdays, with the exception of this week, and then reply post Saturday. Each day that your post is late, you'll lose a point. Your discussion forum ends absolutely at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday nights, which means that if you submit your post on that following day, Sunday, technically you should not get any points. However, I have decided to help my students out, and I'm probably one of the few who do it, maybe some others do it, where if you submit your reply post on that Sunday after the due date of that Saturday, I will still give you points, but I will take away 1 point if it's very detailed. Again, as I said, if you submit your discussion post and reply post on Sunday, no deal. No deal. Okay, so you won't get points for it at all. So this is saving another section that I won't have to spend time talking about down here. APA, we've already talked about that. So your course consists of readings, discussion assignments, which we talked about, quizzes. There will be 5 quizzes throughout the course. 5 quizzes. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes. 5 quizzes, not 6 quizzes. And the reason why is because the last week consists of the final exam. Okay, so it'll be 20 multiple choice questions. I'm not going to tell you how many questions will be on a weekly quiz. I can't tell you that, but they decided to let you know that the final exam, that'll be week 6. And then your assignments due each week. You just demonstrate the mastery of the competencies. That is the issues that are in your rubric, the issues that are in the module, as well as what I covered during the lecture. And then there's a live classroom lecture, which you have each week as well. And again, this is some more information that you already know. I guess you said, dang, you make sure I know about this. Yeah, because it's up here, and it is down here, and then it's on your course homepage. So here are your assignments. Notice your points. For discussions, that's the second highest number of points, or 20% of your grade. Look at your assignments. Between the two of these, that's was that 76% of your grade. Then the other 25% consists of the quizzes, the final exam. Don't be tricked because it says you only need 7 percentage points. It's the difference in an A and a B and a C, and those other letters that I don't talk about. Your live lectures, you will get 5 points for each week. There's 6 lectures for a total of 605 points. That's a perfect score. I've had some students that do that. I'll make my announcement now. Never ask me how to get a C or below in my class. I am not going to answer you. My goal is honor roll and dean's list for every student that I have. That's because I stand for excellence. I want you to get into the habit of standing for excellence. I know everybody's different, But I know one thing that you all want. You all want the opportunity to advance professionally in your future. And how well you perform in school is one of the means that is used. That's what I'm talking about. And I tell people, say, oh, your students, they make it all the time. You really help them out. I says, I point them in the right direction, then they execute. If you don't execute, I got students that I love. I love all my students, but I mean, I have some students that I know very well. They'll have good conversations with me, and then they won't follow the rubric or what I say in the lecture. They take the shortcut way, and they end up down there at the C level, and they want to know why. Incidentally, you'll discover in the rubrics, there's a section in there where when you see your grade, you can see a little comments about why. If I tell you that it's very good and I don't give you any comments, the rubric itself tells you, well, I checked that box, how well you did. That means you satisfied this, satisfied that, and that means you did it right. Keep doing that for 5.5 weeks and you get A. Okay. All right. We don't give A pluses, but we do give A minuses. So A and B, that's honor roll. This is Dean's list. I'm sorry, reversal. This is Dean's list. This is honor roll. Okay. So that's where you want to be. Stay there. You'll be happy later on that you had somebody like me to do that. If somebody did it to me. So one of the additions that they've had is accommodations. If you know that you need accommodations based on a disability, don't tell me that you need accommodations because you got 4 jobs, 40 kids, and those kind of things, because that's not what they mean. They're talking about things that will qualify you under the law, so we can make sure that, and if you do, then you want to make sure that you reach out to your campus accommodations coordinator. Did I lose you guys? Did you, or did you just have to leave and then come back? I know I see students leave and then come right back. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, there's 2 of you. Okay. Double Trinity. I mean, double faith, right? Okay. So anyway, it's important for you to be aware. And if you have that issue, then what you will do is you will just go to your campus accommodations coordinator, who generally is your campus dean, and they will be able to tell you what you need to do to follow up with that. And then I will know, and it's confidential between myself, the dean, and you, the student. Transferable skills. Employers have let us know that there are things that they will be looking for in terms of determining who they hire. And that's called transferable skills. And the reason it's called transferable skills is because it is transferable from education to employment opportunities. Communication, written and oral communication. I always remind my students of the importance of both of these. Employers are looking for, especially in criminal justice. I oftentimes talk about in communication and written how your grammar and spelling and all of that stuff should be correct. I've talked about how I've won cases with incorrect information in reports that I've used in court to impeach, or as they say, make a professional, like a law enforcement officer or someone, they look bad because I pointed out to the trier of fact, particularly the jury or the judge, particularly the jury, about that. And if you've been paying close attention to the impeachment, I pay attention to what's happening politically because that's an area that I function in as a political science major. And then as a lawyer, you will discover that one of the critiques that the media has brought out to the public is that the lawyers representing the former president put together sloppy briefs, and that they had misspellings and typos and things like that. That's unprofessional, and it will make you look very bad. So that's why we're tough on you in terms of making sure that you understand that. So written and oral communication. Critical thinking, I've already talked about that. Digital fluency, I've kind of talked about that. Books, being able to utilize systems like WebEx, for example, being able to utilize Blackboard, be able to utilize your digital textbooks, being able to use Word and use PDFs when you need to, but primarily Word, as I says in this course and in most courses, as well as spreadsheets in some of your classes that you learn how to do, maybe your math and science and statistics and things like that. So we're in a digital society. When I came out of law school in 1978, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have internet or none of that. But now we're in a society where everybody's got laptops. Most people now don't even have desktops anymore. Very few people have desktops now. They have more laptops, tablets, phones. I'm an Android person. I'm not an Apple person. Most young people are Apple people. I always jokingly say I don't like Apple because I don't like anything that has a bite out of it. If you know what the symbol of Apple is, you know what I'm talking about. Diversity and teamwork. I've already talked about teamwork, but you'll be working together with individuals in your professional careers in various areas. I worked with defense attorneys as a defense attorney, a prosecutor, police officers, detectives, paralegals, medical professionals, all kinds of various professional forensics people, scientists, and people of that nature. Diversity. We are in a diverse society, and we want you to recognize that in our school that we stand for diversity and inclusion at this school. We want people to be respected regardless of their beliefs, regardless of the fact that there are some people, for example, there may be some people who are not in the session tonight because there's a holiday. And I know about those. I get Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur mixed up, but I think it's got to be Rosh Hashanah because I think Yom Kippur is in October or something like that. But at any rate, there is a holiday, and I was raised up in a big Jewish law firm, so I had a yarmulke. I know about the menorah. I know about all that stuff. I was involved in many bar mitzvahs, and I love those. But at any rate, I know about the various cultures. People have different beliefs. People celebrate the holidays different. Hanukkah as opposed to Kwanzaa, Christmas, and then there are other dates. People express themselves by dealing with ethnic. I was looking at a video on my cell phone today of a young lady who was a Chinese, and they're celebrating the New Year, and she was talking about her mom was talking to her about culture. Well, we respect that, and that everybody's different. We have different people who have different sexual preferences, gay, straight. We don't make jokes about people because of their lifestyle and things of that nature. We try to encourage and help people and be supportive and appreciate. In fact, we can learn from each other, learn a whole lot of different things. There are things that I know as an African American that you may or may not know if that's not your ethnic group or culture. But the bottom line is that diversity is so important. You're also going to probably run into people, whether you work in probation, parole, prisons, jails, or so if you're a police officer, you're an attorney, you're going to work with different groups. When I was a defense lawyer, I worked with a guy who was fluent in Spanish. I speak a little Spanish. As I say hablo poquito en español, which means I speak a little Spanish. And so the point of the matter is that I had clients who were gang members, because I did a lot of criminal law, and they didn't speak English. So we were able to communicate with the help of a translator, but we worked together on those things. Ethics. Oh, you're going to hear about that in just a few minutes, a little bit more. Ethics is so important. Let me tell you, good people, ethics should be the start of doing something, the middle of doing something, and the end of doing something. Ethics, integrity, and character all go hand in hand. You will go further being an ethical rather than unethical person. You will learn to have some integrity, operate on the basis of truth. Truth. As I shared many times to my student, truth has no S on it. Try saying the word truths. Your mouth can't. But say lies, and lies just comes, it just rolls off. But you try to stay away from those things. They can get you in trouble. They can send you to jail, particularly if you take an oath and you do so. It can cause you to lose your jobs, your livelihood, and you could be discredited as an individual. That is not a good way to live your life. And so we operate to teach you some ethics. It should start at home, but the fact of the matter is we help you to understand all your professions have ethics as I know we as lawyers, there's a part of our professional responsibility that goes with ethics that says that don't even give the appearance of impropriety. Even if it might not be improper, you try to stay away from even the appearance. And there are people in all areas who have professional responsibility codes, whether you're an accountant, an attorney, paralegals have it, police officers have it, any field, probation officers, parole officers, correction officers. So, and then I've already talked about information literacy. So each of these critical skills will be utilized throughout your matriculation in this school. I'll skip the attendance policy. The late assignment policy. Let me just say this up front. Don't fall in love with this, but just be knowledgeable about it, especially the way it's written. It says students may submit assignments up to 7 days after the deadline. Up to 7 days. And let me check something here. Okay, good. Up to 7 days. I was checking because I didn't see my recording thing going, but it's going. And what that means is that you can turn in an assignment up to 7 days late. Now, don't get comfortable with that, because each day that you're late, you lose 10%. So that means if your assignment's due Sunday and you turn in that same assignment Monday, you're going to get a 90. Tuesday, 80. Wednesday, 70. Thursday, which is only the 4th date, you failing or getting close to failing, a D. The point of the matter is that don't fall in love with that. Now, it is the school policy, all right, and you will lose those points. However, going to this 3rd section, it says instructors, notice who it gives the power to, may waive the late penalty in case of extenuating circumstances as determined by the same person it starts with, except they call us a faculty here. Instructors and faculty are the same people. That's me in this class. Not your dean, not your advisor, not the head of the school or any of that. because it is our goal to try to help you out. Extenuating circumstances is determined on a case-by-case basis. I've had many students who have extenuating circumstances, then they let me know. And the more serious the situation, the more leeway I give to students. And trust me, I can take you as far as you can until you get to the last day of class. But if I don't know about that, then I can't determine it. Don't come to me in week 5 and say, you know, weeks 1 to 4, I had a problem, but I didn't want to bother you with it. I tried to work it out. Well, I appreciate that, but then that's going to backfire on you because of the fact that I'm not going to be as lenient working with you and helping you. I never penalize military people. I refuse to do that. And I've worked with them extensively, and I've worked a lot of things out for them. And so I can do that. And I am very liberal, as those of you who have been in my classes before can attest, if your assignments have been late for whatever reason. Online discussions, I've already talked about that. It says discussion posts made after the due date in the current week will not be accepted. Well, I said differently. I accept them, but you get a 0, so that's the same thing. If you need an incomplete, you need to, says under no circumstances may the student submit work after the last day unless an incomplete grade has been requested and granted. Who grants incomplete? I do, upon request by the students, but you have to go through these steps, and then it's not a lot. Learn about it. Don't rely on it though. Only use it if you need it. And then this is the academic integrity policy. We talked about that earlier as one of transferable skills in terms of ethics. You are held to this conduct, which means that when you take your quizzes, for example, you should have no sticky notes, none of these kind of things around you. You shouldn't have your notepad out and that kind of thing. You shouldn't be doing that. Besides, they're timed and it's going to catch up with you. Okay. So you can take a look at that and you can read that on your own. All right. So we've been on so far roughly 90 minutes. I mean, not 90 minutes, roughly 30 minutes. We got about 29 to go, and I'm going to take you to some other things now. I do encourage you to, if you haven't, go to the student lounge. I see there's one student who I have here, and you'll see that, and that's who's here tonight. So I'm going to do this, put it on the recording, because everybody gets to see it when you post it anyway. And so we learn a little bit about, okay, am I saying this right? Xu Yang, did I say that correctly? Did I say it right? Type in chat. Did I? I did? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because I always like to make sure I say people's names correctly, because I don't like messing up people's names. It's kind of hard messing up Richard, and it's definitely hard messing up Wright. And spelling you can, but okay. Welcome to class, Xu Yang and everybody. So I see you want to get your bachelor's degree. Oh, procrastinating. Oh, get rid of that profession. I always tell people, if you're going to be a pro, don't be a pro at crastinating. And, you know, and I see you left that R out, but that's okay. I'm not going to mess with you about that. You already heard me talking about that. But, you know, I know what you mean. Finally finished traveling over 47 states. Oh, wow. That's cool. I don't know. You know, I haven't counted the states I've been in. I don't think I'm anywhere near 47 states. I don't think we have a bunch of counties in our state. I don't think I've been in that many counties. 5 countries. I've been in I've been in 3 countries: United States, Canada, and Mexico. That's it for me. One of these days I'll good. That's good. That means you have exposure abroad. That's good. You've been working 2 jobs. I know about that. Been there, done that, lived that, and felt I can no longer grow as a person in these career fields. So I'm looking for new options. Okay, fun fact about a movie I like is The Silent Voice. Oh, okay. I don't know that one. Um, I know all movies that are, and if you look at my um, profile, so I'm gonna do this. This is what I would do. I'm just showing you this. You'll probably get a chance to see this. Uh, Welcome to class. And then I usually try to say, hope to see you in the live lecture, but I don't have to say that because you're here already. Okay, so anyway, my point though for going into this is that there are other individuals who I've responded to already, but make sure that you take a look at this. Yeah, that's me. That's that big old picture there. Let me move that out of the way. That's me with my family. At least 4 of my kids. I have 8. 4 of the other 4 are grown and have grandchildren of mine. But this character here, she's bigger now. She's as big as this girl here, you know. So, yeah, these guys are. Um, she's 21. He's 20. He's 25. Notice these 2 dudes are 6'2". They're both the same height. They think just because they're a little taller than me. I told them, don't get comfortable with that. Read the Bible. I'm David. You're Goliath. So, but anyway, that's my family. And then it tells some things about me. And you see me with my exciting day when I graduated. And then a lot of people skirt over this, but I have this mnemonic that if you operate under, you'll do well. And that's what I use to be successful. And each letter is a way of life, a habit that will lead to success. So I did all of these things and still continue to do them now. So anyway, that's how you, in addition to what I shared with you earlier, you get a chance to learn about me as well. Okay, let's get out of that. And let's go now. Let's put this back up in the corner. Okay, I've covered that. I've covered that. Okay, now let's go to the course homepage. Finish the stuff on the left side. I did the right side. So I told you about the rubric. I have now incorporated the rubrics are now also on an announcement. Each week you'll see that. And so if you click on more to open it up, it tells you the entire rubric. Now, if you want to see it, then you just slide it over. Let's see. I think it's supposed to slide. It's supposed to move over. Well, anyway, here's the rubric, and it tells you the columns, and it explains to you the assignments. Some of this stuff is pretty goofy, the way that some of this stuff ends up. And your goal is going to be in which column, everybody? I know Faith knows it. Trinity may know it too. What column? Type it in chat. Mastery. Here's where I tell my students, pretend that these other 3 don't exist. Because you'll discover that if you do mastery and satisfy all the requirements, and like I said again, you can see, I don't know why the whole thing is not supposed to show here, but you'll see the whole thing in just a few minutes anyway. It just cuts off some of the wording here. I don't know why. It just cuts off some of these longer words. But for each section, the assignment, substances, 10 points, you're going to satisfy the requirements here. Social impact, information literacy, we already talked about that. Supporting credible. Now, if you don't have any supporting credible sources, I can't put you in this column, but you end up in this because it says missing supporting credible sources. What are credible sources? Citations. Citations. Where do citations go? In the body of the paper, as you're going to hear in just a few minutes. Cite your sources. Very, very, very important for integrity as well as maximizing your points. So then it's broken down. So if you get all of these right over here, you will end up with a total of all of the points that you're supposed to get. I have to see why this is not showing, because it should be showing everything down here. That's why I hate, my dean asked me to put it on that page. So anyway, you get a chance to be introduced to it, but you're going to see a better version of it in the actual assignment. Okay. So now we have, before we get to the academic integrity video, which I'm going to go to in a minute, you have a welcome announcement, which you each should have read by now. And it tells you important things that you need to follow. This will be up for the whole time. One of the things that's in here is stuff that you already should be aware of because you had it earlier about the lecture taking place right now, and then when the next lectures are taking place. Okay. And then week 1, let me see something. Okay, I know what to do. I'm gonna fix this. So anyway, each week you'll have this announcement as well. This is your main one that has all the information that you need. It tells you the topic for the week, psychoactive drugs, categories, and effects on the body. You're going to read chapters 1 and 2. As I told you, I sent you the PowerPoints of your text. And then you're going to deal with these activities. The Controlled Substance Act, the Controlled Substance Act activity, I'll show you that. Narcotics, amphetamines, cocaine, and marijuana and synthetic drugs. Each week I'll usually discuss those during the lecture, but not today because we're going to try to adjourn around 10 o'clock to get you out, especially since it's a Friday night. This tells you also when the lecture is taking place for this week, and it tells you that next week that you begin on Wednesdays, which you already know. The discussion assignment, classification of drugs and controlled substances, as you all know that it's Saturdays when these are due this week. I already told you about the difference. And then finally complete the quiz and the written assignment, impact of controlled substances, which I showed you the rubric. And then again remind you about this. And then adversity is the springboard to success. You learn about that by taking the time to go over that. I have a few students who reached out to me and told me that they had a chance to see it. So now I want to go into this, and I'm going to take off my headphones, and you can Okay, go here, and then I'm gonna paste and go. All right, so now taking this out. So you can pay attention. This is about a 4-minute video. If you can't hear me or hear everything well, then the closed caption. Academic integrity is making decisions in your academic life that are based on honesty, trust, fairness, responsibility, and respect. This means being honest in your view, non-respectful, and used. Cheating means disputing, receiving answers or information by any means other than those expressly repeated by assignments or requirements or an instructor. Some examples of cheating: asking fellow students for answers or copying answers during class. Examples: devices or materials for class, student media purchasing factors or websites or websites, copying devices or system examples, as noted, false, identified all always ask your professors to do the best, or to work together with classmates on the same some examples of plagiarism are training cite your sources. Both in the body of your paper is intake citations and references. Whenever you want to use earlier examples, video or videos that are biologists, you should cite that the source of that this is the course. Targeting and starts with work practices and skills learned by our students. Which is the one to the whole team as well, following academic integrity guidelines, everyone in school learns those skills, ethical practices, that create a fear to the workplace. I understand that I'm melting, but what do I need to know? Simple questions. Integrity policy can start core syllabus, talk with your instructor, and if you need assistance, style, or how to avoid contact the Rasmussen for our hours up, or schedule non-free resources. If you guys your tool, schedule okay, so with that video, you can I talked about citing your sources, why we use APA as well. So it's very, 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 very important. Okay. So now let's go into the actual module. Now keep in mind that each week I will go into this really fast after doing the announcements, but today is different. Now, as I was saying to you earlier about your assignments, so I open up the assignments, classification of drugs and controlled substances, and then For your first post, choose one of these drugs, and then discuss these issues. And then for your reply post, respond to a student with a different drug than the one you chose. Okay. And I've already pretty much covered discussion post requirements. By the way, citations are good, but I don't require them, but they are a good habit to have. So now your assignment, your written assignment, impact of controlled substances. And so there's this scenario that you're going to use for all your assignments. It's going to be the same scenario, and you're going to be using it week after week after week. So what I would suggest is click on it, and then you'll see it come up in a minute as a Word document. It's coming up. There we go. And then I usually do, that's how when I get ready to do your grading, I go to Grammarly, but I'm not going to do that for this. But it gives you the scenario, and it's a read only for me because, okay. So now you go through, this is the scenario you're going to use. All right. So you're going to keep that, and you want to save that because you're going to end up using it over and over again. Okay. All right. So you're going to use this scenario, and then you'll need to address these issues, these 3 issues. All right. At least one credible source. I usually tell students, it does say at least one, but don't be lazy with just choosing one. Sources support your statements, and get into the habit of doing that. Use professional language in a 2 to 3 page paper. So generally, as I say to students, I hate that they put at least one, because I try to tell my students, act like you didn't even see that at least one, because your sources should support your statement, and you kind of understand then what I'm talking about. I won't penalize you, but it's a habit to develop, because I have a habit of, if I quote something, or if I take a source for information, I give credit to that source by citing it and then including it on the reference page. Okay. So now here's the way that you see the rubric with each assignment. Is you click on the name of the assignment, and it opens it up, and it gives you your due date. All right. And it tells you about viewing the rubric. Now, if you go down here, you're going to see the same stuff that you already saw. But when you click on view rubric, put your mouse on it, it opens up the full rubric. And then you begin to see what I was talking about. All right. It tells you the same things that we saw, but you see it's not cut off here. I don't know why it cut off here on that page. So again, you want to get a total of all the points. So look at what happens. It already told you how many points that you get when you exit the rubric. 60. So notice this. If you satisfy everything over here, 10, that's 24. Let's see, that's 28, 38, plus 14, plus, and you get to all these points added, that adds up to the right amount of points. Okay? Now, notice the difference in emerging, where if you don't have citations, that's where you're going to end up. Half the points. Half the points. Half the points. Half the points. 1 point. No credible sources. And then this has to do with satisfying the 2 to 3 page requirement. If I see that you're under that, then you can't be over here, you can't be here, you can't be here. It means did not meet the requirements. So let's say, for example, you didn't have any credible sources, okay? And so chances are you will also probably not be able to satisfy, you won't be able to satisfy this for sure, but it'll be incomplete identification of each of the substance Dave is consuming. Or if you did a basic. So let's say I gave you, you got 8 points here. And then you got 13 here. Then you got 13 here. You got 13 here. But then you don't have any credible sources. So then you get 1 point added here. And then if it didn't satisfy the page requirement, you lose another point. So your grade can be affected by that. So you want to act as if these right here do not exist. Look to mastery. Get that into your brain and lock into it. The Dean's List students function here and here, but this is really where you stay. Your goal is to stay here. But remember, credible sources is so important to making sure that you get that grade. So you know now where you can find your rubric on the course homepage as well as here. Okay? Any questions about the written assignment? Any questions? Okay. Any others? No questions? Okay. So now, go to the next part of the assignment, and that is the quiz. It is a time quiz that is set for 30 minutes, and you'll have only one opportunity to complete this exam. I do recommend that when you do the quizzes, try to do the quizzes the last day of class assignments due, which is Sunday. Some people can do their written assignments on Saturday or Friday or even before. But the key thing is try to at least get it done before Sunday and then concentrate on the quiz. As you can see, the due date for that is Sunday. Okay. All right. So those are the assignments for this week. Now, what I would normally do is, okay, I'll show you too this drugs and course crime guide that you should utilize to help you. And here you click on it, and it tells you about your assignments. I was sharing that a little earlier in the online library, but this is designed just for this course, for each of the weeks, and it helps you to get the assignments done as well. So utilize this. This is a very valuable tool. It tells you how to do everything that you need to do. And then credible sources, you can determine that. But I told you one of the best things to do is use the library and learning sources because they've been properly vetted. So then each week, I will cover the issues like the Controlled Substance Act, this and this and this. We already talked about transferable skills. So what I would do is I would talk about the Controlled Substance Act. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't have the time today because of what I did earlier. But each week I will cover these and then give you some input from myself about my experiences as well. Then This after that is an activity that you can do. And what you do is take a few moments, and then you will determine what lines up with which. For example, which of these is schedule 1? So you would drag and drop. Let's say, is this it? There you go. Schedule 2. That. Steroids. Nope. See, it won't stick. Correct. And then, of course, Valium. So you do that. And that helps you to learn. And this also, by the way, helps you to prepare for the exam. And then you go do the next group. All right. So you go through all of that. This gives you details. You click on it and it explains to you more details about that. And it's each of the topics do the same thing. Marijuana as well. Okay, and then finally you talk about synthetic drugs, and this tells you about synthetic drugs. We're going to talk about all of these in detail with the weeks to come. We already talked about the transferable skills. By the way, this is where you can also click on and you can learn more about it. And there you go, digital fluency as well. And then information literacy and ethics and professional responsibility, diversity. Okay, I didn't tell you this, that I'm on the diversity panel, an inclusion panel at this college, because we strongly operate that. And then this is a video also that talks about transferable skills as well. Okay, and that's it. That's it for today. So, any questions? Any questions? Okay. Faith, any questions? Xu Yang, any questions? Okay. All right. So now I need to give you your key phrase. Any suggestions? Okay. No questions from either of you. Any suggestions for a key phrase? That's not it, but that's a good one. That's another good one. Any other guesses? Okay, everybody's not. It's too easy today. Drugs and crime. You give me that and you get your points for the week. All right. I know, I know, I know, I know. But yeah. Uh, that's why I tell students sometimes you mess yourself up by thinking too deep. That happens to everybody who went through law school. But I was always one of those people who kept their feet on the ground. And I was very successful. That's why my not guilty verdicts in my cases I tried as a criminal defense lawyer before juries was in the high 90 percentile, because I didn't go, so usually professors try to trick you. Yeah, see, I don't do that. I'm actually pretty predictable after a while. My students begin to catch on. You guys are kind of rusty at it. Trinity, you would be So you're just learning. Faith, you should have known I did this kind of stuff last time with the other course. Okay, so I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Again, next week, I'll be going straight into the material. I will not talk about those other things that I talked about, except I will go over the calendar and I go over the announcement and then show you the rubric, and then we'll get to going on that in an hour. All right, so you guys enjoy your weekend. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Get your work done if you're going to be enjoying that day. I don't know what we're going to do because a lot of things aren't open, but we'll see what happens. My wife figure out something. So I'll see you guys next week. But it'll be Thursday, okay? If you come next Friday, you won't be here with us, at least with me. So have a good evening and a good weekend. Bye-bye. Stay safe too.